Hi guys, so welcome back to another video. So today, yesterday I finished my deficit. So the deficit lasted for about three months. So I just thought I'd come on here and just get a few things that I learned out of my deficit that could help you guys if you're going into a deficit. Just some things that are going to make it a lot easier for you that I wish I knew at the start. So before I went into this deficit, I wasn't tracking food. I was training 6 to 7 days a week because I thought that more is better. And in resulting that, I was training very poorly. I wasn't tracking my lifts. I was pretty much just going into the gym. If the boys said they wanted to do chest, I'd do chest because chest is fucking awesome. Very rarely would I train legs, as you can tell by now I have to train them twice as hard to be able to get bloody anything going in my legs. So I've definitely copped it for that. But yeah, so it started at the start of lockdown. I just have a brother that's a personal trainer, so he started coaching me. Started tracking my calories. I started tracking my lifts, and it only took a week or two until I started seeing all of the benefits of, just all the little 1%ers and stuff that like you don't think matters, but it does. So tracking my food, obviously, it's not as hard as it seems. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna switch off the video now because I can't track food, it's too hard, then you just need to think and just kind of put yourself in the deep end, because it's not as hard as it seems. It's like with a lot of things, like this YouTubing stuff, I was so shit scared of it, but it's not as hard as it seems. Dead set, just set up my camera, look at the camera and talk. It's not that hard. So that's with anything at the moment. Like, you got plenty of downtime with the whole coronavirus lockdown, so make sure you make the most of it and try and get shit done. Like, just go out and do something scary, and trust me, it's not scary as soon as you do it once or twice. So enough shit talk, we'll get into the video. So these are just 9 tips for dieting, just to make it a little bit easier for you. So keep it simple. So when I first got my calorie target, my coach spoke to me and just said, like, these are the foods that would be optimal to have and blah, 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 but it was sort of the if it fits your macros blend. So of course I thought, oh, this is awesome. I can have a Halo top every night. I can have this, if it fits my macros, and I can have this. But the problem was that I was kind of starving myself. Well, not starving myself, but like the other meals were taking a toll on that, because I was trying to get ice cream in just because I wanted to post it on my Instagram story and look cool and say like, oh yeah, I'm eating a Halo top. But reflecting back on it, I could have had a lot more foods that I have now and just had a lot more quantity of it. So it would have been a lot better to do that. My body probably would have reacted a lot better to it. And another thing is, if you keep it simple and you just have the same sort of foods each day, then, when you get that little cut of calories, it's not like, oh, what foods can I have now? It's sort of just like, okay, I have 100 grams cooked weight rice. Now I'll just have 80 grams with my chicken. So you just got to kind of find a handful of foods and meals and stuff that you're sort of gonna fit into your diet, and then just kind of run with those, because that's the easiest thing. Because if you keep changing up your foods and this and that, it just makes it so much harder. And that's what I was doing for the first 60-70% of it, until I just thought, fuck this, I can't do it anymore. The decision fatigue is fucking killing me. So yeah, I just decided to cut down and then just kind of work with same sort of foods every day, and that helped heaps. So plan your meals. So it's a part of my morning routine. I wake up in the morning, sometimes even the night before, I just plan out my meals. So if you are going to go away from, having the same stuff every day, which is really, it can be tough. I found it was quite tough. So I changed it up a little bit here and there. So I kind of just plan out my meals and then just put it into the MyFitnessPal, and then it's all done. So all sorted for me. And then I wake up in the morning, and when I usually have my meal around the same time. So pre-workout, I just go onto the MyFitnessPal app, have a look, and it's all there for me. I don't need to sit there and think about, oh, what am I gonna have today? Or maybe if I have that, oh, I'm craving this. It's sort of like my brain just knows what it's having, it knows what it's doing. I know what to get when I go shopping, and then it's all sorted. So it's a lot easier. It's just like your mind works on autopilot. Distract yourself. So this one's a big one, and it's one of the reasons why I go on my walks a lot. Obviously it's good to get your steps in, and on days like this, it's very, very easy to get out and go for a walk, but I feel as though it's another thing. So it just helps with like your hunger, because if you're kind of just sitting around, I feel like a lot of you would know now that we're doing this lockdown thing, if you're not working or anything and you're kind of just sitting there and you've got a lot of idle time, you kind of like, you just want to eat. So you got nothing better to do. So, you know, you're walking around, you walk past the pantry, you see those cookies and they're giving you the eyes, and you know, you can only put it off for so long, and then next thing you know, you've had a whole box of cookies, and then because your mind is just thinking about it, and you're not really doing anything to distract yourself. So that's why I like to get out on walks. And whenever I have a little weak moment and I'm looking at those the assorted creams, they're my weakness. So whenever the assorted creams, those Arnott's ones, are in the household, yeah, I go on a few walks a day. So I just try and get out for a walk, or just go do an ab circuit or something, like do some study. So try and distract yourself, because the more you sit around doing nothing, then the more your mind is just going to be thinking like, oh, I could really go for a biscuit right now, or I could really go for this. And yeah, you just get so hungry. Find alternatives. So this is a fun one for me. It's sort of like a game. Like, you just work out the lowest calories for something that's still gonna not taste like shit, because obviously there's a lot of stuff that like is really low calorie, and then you have it, and then yeah, you wouldn't wish it upon your worst enemy. So it's quite fun finding out like all the meals where you can move them around. And like, for example, eggs. I used to have eggs, and I used to love eggs. Like, I'll still have eggs, but it's just obviously not optimal for dieting. When your calories get low, you just change it for egg whites. So I think, don't quote me on this, but I think an egg is, I think it's 71 calories, one large egg, and then one egg white is 16 calories. So if you work that out, like, you put it in that way, it's pretty stupid to just have an egg, because you know, you still get your protein in with the egg whites, still the same volume pretty much. Yeah, so it's just a smarter option. So you kind of just look at the foods that you eat throughout the day, and then yeah, you just I used to just Google it. Like, say I liked ice cream, I looked up, what's a healthy alternative to ice cream? Not healthy, but like a low calorie alternative to ice cream. And then, you know, I found out about Halo Tops, so I started having Halo Tops. And there's also other ones out there. For pasta, there's these edamame, I think that's what it's called, spaghetti. It can really fuck with your gut, I'll be honest, but like, it's just a great alternative. Like, it's pretty much half the calories or something. Yeah, so you just look at all those things and try and find alternatives where you're still going to be eating as regularly as you usually do, but it's just a smarter choice. Don't limit your training. So you will hear a lot of people talking about, you know, when you're in a deficit, you can't build muscle, you can't build strength, and you can't do this. So when I first went into a deficit, like, I was talking to my brother, and kind of just said like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Like I'm not really looking to progress my lifts at the moment anyway, because I'm just cutting calories. And you know, he kind of put it into my head and just said like, no, like you got to go into the session, you got to fucking want to progress your lifts. You need to come in with that mindset, or else your sessions is just going to be fucking fluff. Like if you go into the session and you're just working like, oh yeah, could probably get 1 or 2 more, but like I'm in a deficit anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I don't really need to progress my lifts. Then yeah, you're not going to get anything out of it, and you're better off just not fucking training. Like it's just stupid. So that's just my opinion. I like going into this session and, you know, really working for something. I like to, you know, progress my logbook as much as I can. Some weeks you don't get it, but if you go in with that mindset and you're going after every lift and you want to fucking get there, then 100% you will. So the calories won't, they'll affect you a bit, but I've been progressing my lifts throughout the whole deficit. So there's nothing going to stop you. The only thing that's going to stop you is your mindset going into it. So you're just going to make sure you fucking want it before you get in there. Slow and steady. So a lot of people, when they jump into a deficit, they kind of want to do, it's like the keto and paleo sort of movement. It's just like a quick and easy, I wouldn't even say easy, it's just a quick way to lose body fat. But it's definitely not optimal. I would go against it 10 times out of 10 usually. It's just, it's really tough because you go through, like everyone's different, but this is just my opinion on it. I feel as though like you can do all that you get from paleo and keto and stuff like that. You can have a lot more enjoyment because, you know, you're not limiting yourself on certain food groups and whatnot. You can kind of just eat within your macro target, hit your protein, hit your calories, and then it's going to be, it usually would be a slower movement down through the scales, but you're going to have a lot more fun with it. You're going to retain a lot more muscle because it's not such a drastic drop in body weight. I feel as though like just going through a calorie deficit is just a lot easier than kind of just dropping all the weight off through like a fad diet or something like that. And even if you are just doing a calorie deficit, make sure you talk to someone that's actually in the know, and like even message me, and then just see like, hey, how do I work out my calories? And you can watch the last video that I put up. Get on there now. You on there? Thanks. And then you watch that video that works it all out for you. So how to go into a calorie deficit. And then, you work that out, you'll start losing weight little bit by little bit. And then the slower, the better, I reckon. Like you get to a point where it's just steadily dropping and it's a lot more enjoyable. Get into a routine. So as I said before, morning routine, that's always good. So I like to have my meals at around the same time, because, you know, sometimes if you have a meal a little bit too early and then and then something happens and goes, like you go off and you get distracted, and then, you know, something else pops up and you have to go somewhere, and then you got 4 hours or 5 hours without a meal, you are going to be one of the most aggressive people, and just everything's going to tick you off. So, and you're not going to be enjoying your day all that much without any food. And obviously there's health benefits for getting food in between, like no more than like 3 hours, a little bit less, because if you're having a big space in between your meals, number one, you're gonna have to jam them all in at the end of the day, and you know, you're not getting the protein in the little slots that are optimal. So yeah, just kind of try to get into a routine, a healthy routine, where every day you sort of do the same sort of thing, just so the body adapts to it and kind of knows what's going on, and you don't fuck around with your diet too much. enjoy the process. So this is kind of, it's a tough one to do while you're doing it, sort of thing, if you get me. Because when I was like cutting down the weight and stuff, like, you obviously do enjoy it, but it can be tough at sometimes. And then that's where you kind of bring yourself back and kind of just say like I'm doing this for a reason. Like, think about how good I'm going to look at the end of this, think about this, and you kind of just have to go back to the positives and stuff and the benefits of what you're doing, which can be tough at times. It can be really tough because you're not eating as much, and obviously you want to be eating more, and you know, there's no real way to be able to do this when you're eating heaps and then looking shredded. So yeah, you just got to think like, this is what I have to do to look the way that I want to. So you just need to kind of go and think of the positives, and just think, I'm doing this for a reason. So try and get yourself through it. And then the last one kind of links onto that. So take photos and reflect. So a lot of people will understand what I mean by this, but you know, like you have people coming up to you and stuff and say like, oh yeah, you're looking good, mate. Like, oh, the amount of weight you've lost is really good. But it's sort of like, you kind of know that, but you never think you look as good as you do. So that's why I like to take photo. Obviously, that photos are good. Like, you kind of know you're looking all right. But it's like, if I'm in the gym with my brother or something and I just say like, fuck, I look like shit. Like, I look so disgusting. I've got little spaghetti arms, and it's kind of like that self-sabotage thing. You get to a point in your dieting where you kind of start to self-sabotage and kind of tell yourself that like, you're not looking as good as you think you do. Like, oh no, I look like shit. But that's where you just got to kind of, you know, take photos and reflect. Like, sometimes I do it. I just go through photos of where I've come from and, you know, what I used to look like and stuff. And then even if you go back at just a week or two, you kind of look back and go like, fuck, like, I actually look a lot better now. Like, that actually makes me feel real good about myself. And then you go back to where you started from, and then you think, fuck, like, I'm doing this for a reason. Like, I look fucking awesome now. And, you know, it gives you that little boost of energy going into your next session. So yeah, so those are just 9 tips for when you start your dieting. So I really wish I knew them at the start, but yeah, I hope these can help you get through your diet. So if you're looking to start dieting and you're unsure of what to do, then just flick me a message, comment down below what more information you want to know about this topic, or if you want me to make a video about another topic, just let me know. So like, subscribe, and spread the word of this channel, because I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff, and it's just whatever you guys want to hear about. So make sure you get around it, and I'll see you in the next video.